Здравствуйте, and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Dave Leese. This is Jonathan
I'm
Byer.
Jonathan Byer.
And he has told us today we have a very famous soprano on, Dina Kuznetsova from, you perform with the Met, with the Bolshoi Ballet. So we're thrilled to have you, Dina, because we will get comments being like, you guys don't know anything. You can't even pronounce their names. So now, at least we can pronounce their names when they hate us, so they can take that off of the list.
It could be a good pronunciation tutorial. And thanks for pronouncing my name, Dave. It was very good.
Yes.
But see, here are the things. I see your last name, and it could be Kuznetsova, or it could be Kuznetsova. So is there a general rule when we see these kinds of syllables and names, or is it on a case-by-case basis?
It's on a case-by-case basis, unfortunately. Like Kuznetsova, it's actually a very common name. It means Smith in English. So I'm Dina Smith.
Yeah. Gosh.
So
How
every
glamorous.
person would know because it's a very common name, but for Americans or for foreigners, it is on case-by-case basis. And sometimes when the names are based on, for example, on a common word like Medvedeva, Medved means bear. So again, it's a common name and all the Russians would know how to pronounce it.
Is that why she was doing this for a while? What was the point when she was doing that? What was going on there?
No, I really don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Also,
we can
what's
pretend
going on
it's
with
that
her
she's
hair?
a bear.
She has a lot of hair going on, and they will really do this crown hairstyle with her, and then
Hairstyles, Dave, I wouldn't know. I know she does. she and Radionova are competing for best hair, and
Yes.
I think Radionova might be winning. Have you seen her Instagram with those
Yes.
gorgeous dresses? Yeah.
Rodionova. I think Annabelle Morozov once said to me, Rodionova's always at the center of a drama, and if she's not, she's creating it, or something. And I was like, that's my kind of a girl. There. Yes. So let's start. I want to ask you first. Tarasova's word of the event was zdorova, zdorova. Now, a couple years ago, she was into saying zdilinit. So what is she actually saying? Okay.
Zdorova means like fantastic job. It's
Zdorova.
It's an exclamation of appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
So if she loves something, she would say zdorova. Now she often says deli, which means do, and she would do that before somebody does something,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, come on, do it.
And then if they've done it, if they do it, that's when she says zdilinit, because they did it.
Сделано means accomplished.
Zdilina. Okay.
So there is zdorova, means awesome job, and there is сделано, which might even give her even more satisfaction. Like, because if somebody has, for example, quad lutz, and then she says сделано, like it's done.
Yes, because she gets very excited, and she'll be like, I don't know who the man is next to her, but she'll be like, zdilina, And then I like when she claps. I like when she stands and applauds.
She's really emotional. A lot of people are, myself included, because Tarasova is such an institution.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, Russian fans, Russian skating boards take her comments very, very personally, very emotionally, because she doesn't really hold it back. When she's excited, she's excited. When she's angry, and sometimes if she got angry at one thing, she can sort of keep piling on, her anger, and it seems that she becomes less objective than a commentator might be. But on the other hand, she's also very entertaining, and you do know that she gets excited about skaters, and then they can do no wrong, or then she gets so emotional about them doing something bad. I don't know, with, for example, Stalbova Klimov, who were not at their best this competition. She was very, so, Ksenia, how could you? What are you doing? Don't you have motivation? So she does get emotional about things.
She felt betrayed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, you know a lot about the inner workings, that there's a lot of pull in Moscow. And now, what's the relationship between Tarasova and Eteri Tudbaritsa? Because I know that Elena Buyanova uses Tatiana as a choreographer for all of her expertise, and she really strokes that ego till you have the pull of Tarasova. Where did they get along? Because she uses Averbuk, for choreography oftentimes.
Right. everything I can say is hearsay, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't have an inner, I don't have an inner eye which can really say what's going on. They are competing clubs in Moscow. Tarasova always was connected to this big, famous club called CSKA.
That's where Gurdjieff and Grinkov trained, right? That's the Red Army rink.
I believe that's where her dad trained, because he was a famous hockey coach, right? So he trained there, and then she started her coaching there. So it's her whole life. She's always connected to CSKA. She's always for CSKA skaters. So there is the idea, it's sort of in Russian skating, that skaters from CSKA have a certain advantage because it's such a famous club, and they have a lot of sort of strong people pulling for them, so they get better funding. They get if it's borderline between one guy or the other guy, the guy from CSKA, the girl from CSKA would get a preferential treatment. Again, hearsay, but it seems that through the years that's what it has been, and that's Tarasova's baby club. Rodionova was there, and Buyanova was there, Sotnikov was there, exactly. And Tutberidze is, I think it's called Crystal. You know what? I'm not going to say.
Sambo 70, as it's.
Yeah, right. And she's a competing club, so it's hard to know what their relationship is based on Tarasova's comments. I mean, Tarasova certainly did say Tutberidze is the coach of the year, So I think it's she probably know. I mean, I'm sure she knows what's good, and she knows where the ladies' accomplishments are. So yeah, she does compliment Tutberidze. Whatever goes on behind the curtain, on the surface, she does compliment Tutberidze. Now there was. Of course, there's this pretty well-known Russian journalist, Yelena Vaitsekhovskaya.
Vaitsekhovskaya, right? That's how we pronounce it? Yes. I have read her. They do translations of her articles, on certain blogs. And she's very accomplished. She's a gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist in the jump in the water. How do you call it? Diving.
Amazing.
In her own right. And she's a very controversial but respected journalist. And she for years has taken the real issue with Tutberidze's methods, and I'm not sure whether it's whether she's connected to Tarasova and they both agree on that. It's likely, but I cannot guarantee it. So
now you have Vaitsekhovskaya, and then there's Alla, who is the wife of the main judge, who is the wife of the Federation president.
Yeah, right.
The one that Sotnikova was hugging at the Olympics. We all remember.
I'm terrible with names, so yeah.
It's with an S. I don't even want to try to pronounce it. She is Allah, just like God.
Shekhavtsova.
Yes.
Say it again.
Shekhavtsova.
Okay.
I'm not even going to try that one. But is Tutberidze friends? What's the current situation? Because I know that there can be tension among some of these strong women in Russia that we can.
Oh, Dave, you're asking me more than I know. That's why I don't think I could have.
I just know that Elena Vaitsekhovskaya told us in a famous article when she explained how Grishuk and Platov won the '94 Olympics. She told us that ice dance coaches were the rats in the litter with the sharpest teeth. And I thought that was one of the greatest metaphors.
That's beautiful.
That we have heard in skating.
Wow. Yeah, that is quite descriptive.
Now, Dina, what would you say? You're from Moscow, yes? Okay. So now the difference between those that train in St. Petersburg, perhaps, versus those that train in Moscow. Do you find that, I mean, obviously we knew the difference in pairs styles because of Moskvina being in St. Petersburg and this sort of thing. Do you find that there is a difference in the training methods and the overall aesthetic dependent on which city you're training in, or which, if the federation seems to prefer one, or...
I think the training methods probably depend on individual coaches, right?
Yeah, of course.
The story goes back sort of historically for centuries back, because Moscow and St. Petersburg took turns in Russian history being the capitals, and there is quite a bit of, and maybe like, I don't know what to compare it to, maybe Boston and New York, you know. One is the historical, sophisticated, aristocratic city, which is St. Petersburg. And one is bustling, happening, immigrants from everywhere, you know, there's just the latest things which are happening, and financially more successful, and that is Moscow. Now, they of course switch, you know, first Moscow was the capital, then Peter the Great made St. Petersburg the capital, and then Moscow becomes this big provincial city, like the second city. And then Bolsheviks brought the capital back to Moscow, so that St. Petersburg became the provincial city, which still, you know, prized itself on its sophistication. And then there is definitely emotional pull between the two cities. I would say right now, Moscow clubs have so much more funding, probably because the government is closer, you know, and there's easier relationship between them. Basically, the government who is responsible for money, for the funding, and the coaches, you know, like Moser, and CSKA, Moser, those people get the best funding. And St. Peter, as coaches started leaving St. Petersburg, moving to Moscow, the skaters started leaving St. Petersburg, and have been leaving St. Petersburg for a while, because of the funding, basically. Why the funding is so uneven, I really cannot say.
And why aren't they ever funding Moskvina or Mishin? Because we have heard them complain about funding forever.
Because they're incredible. I mean, they're legends.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yes, even Mishin complains with the funding, you know, comparatively to the Moscow clubs. Now the situation is sort of becoming interesting because there are this relatively new, young-ish St. Petersburg coaches, the Chibotareva, who is coaching Koleda, and by the way, Koleda, not Kalada, Koleda.
Koleda.
Oh my God, and different vowels. So I always say Kolyada.
Well, you are saying it correctly, but if you put the stress on the last syllable, you'll pronounce it right.
Kolyada.
Right.
Kolyada.
Koleda.
Oh.
How do we say Medvedeva? Because this is pronounced so differently. I know that it's Medvedeva, right? The emphasis is on the second syllable, right?
Emphasis on the second syllable, but it's Medvedeva. Now, this is
like a VY.
It's like little glide J, and then Medvedeva.
Medvedeva. I just spit so hard. In Russian's really in the front of your mouth, you know, like Zdravstvuyte.
Medvedeva. Before I lose my train of thought, let me finish with that. So there's Chibotareva, who had Koleda, and right now, of course, she has Stanislava Konstantinova, who made this humongous splash at Russian nationalists being fourth. And if you heard Tarasova's commentary, she was so complimentary. That's what women should be all about. That's Anna Karenina is how Anna Karenina should be made. Of course, that's, you know, considering that Medvedeva does Anna Karenina also.
Yeah.
And,
there was a dig there.
Huge, but she's so feminine. So the difficulty is so made. So Medvedeva made a huge splash. Oh, not Medvedeva, sorry. Konstantinova made a huge splash. So of course, with Koleda and Konstantinova, there is Chibotareva, and then there is, of course, my beloved Rukavitsyn, who is Leonova's coach, who is most importantly right now Aliyev's coach, who was Menshov's coach, and he seems, total hearsay, he seems like a really nice guy who is a very good technician. And because they have Olga Glinka doing choreography, there's this combination of him being the technical guy. It's like if Thomas Krajcik still had Tom Dixon working with him. No, So we have a great technician who is, I think, late 30s, early 40s. He's young for a coach. With a really accomplished ballet choreographer working with him. So that camp, it seems to be that it's accomplishing something or is on the way to accomplish something. So now St. Petersburg has these two really strong coaches who might, on top of Mishin, obviously, and Moskvina. Is Moskvina coaching in St. Petersburg right now?
She is. She had a new pair that was there.
Kozlovsky. Okay.
Yeah.
So now maybe it'll be more even, the distribution of coaching and hopefully funding.
Now,
Okay.
is there tension between Tudberidze and Alverbuk after the program with Medvedeva, because
Yeah.
they
Good,
got
good, good.
they got rid of the program there. There has been switching of the programs in the past, and now she has this very attractive choreographer who sits with her in the Kiss and Cry in his Dolce &
Danny
Gabbana jacket.
G. You have
Danny
to say
G.
the last name, Dina. We just say Danny G.
Yeah. Gleichenhaus or his
Gleichenhaus?
Yeah.
Is it? Gleichenhaus.
Gleichenhaus. What?
Gleichenhaus. That's actually might be German, might be Jewish name, so it's an
Yeah.
easier to pronounce. Daniil Gleichenhaus. Hold on. But he's sitting not only with Medvedeva, he's sitting with lots
All
of, all
Yeah.
of them. Yeah.
Yes. And how does that work? Because is he the number 2 in the ring? Because there's Sergei Dudakov, right? How does he fit in?
I don't know.
It's whatever Eteri wants, right?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
who's the nice cop in that rink? Is Danny G the nice one?
Yes, I believe so. Just looking at juniors, and now it's Dudakov. But
Dudakov. Okay.
just looking at Gleichenhaus's interactions with juniors and how Dudakov interacts with juniors, like when they screw up one little jump, otherwise being perfect. Yeah, Danny G is the nice one.
Danny
Yeah,
G
it
is the nice one. Yeah. Now, are you afraid of Eteri?
Oh, absolutely. I'm terrified of her.
Do you like? She's a little rough on my friend Alina Zagitova. Okay, she's a little rough on her.
So let's start there. Are we now say her name?
Alina Zagitova.
Alina Zagitova.
Yes.
Zagi. It's on the gi. Zagitova.
Zagitova.
Stilina, Jonathan.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Elena Zagitova.
Okay.
So
Now she's one I have to say. I don't understand her PCS marks so
No,
much.
not right.
The Federation is behind her 100%, but so are they internationally. It does baffle me a little bit.
So I want to ask you, as a Russian, okay,
I
you've sung with the Bolshoi, right? You've performed with the Bolshoi. I know that there is strong debate. I do not find her to be very balletic. I would say that a balletic skater would be an Oksana Bayul or an Elena Ilyinek or a Sasha Cohen. And when I see Zagitova in the tutu and looking so unfinished with arms and legs that kind of flop and bend, and she doesn't have the beautiful posture, it's confusing to me that she continues to wear these tutus in every program and look so sloppy.
Now, Dave, a little correction. I performed with Bolshoi Opera.
Opera, so sorry.
Same building.
Same building. I mean, I went to see.
Listen, I assume that you know Obratsova. I assume that you are good friends, okay? And that you...
But I agree with you too. I think people who I did not see her live, people who saw her live say that she's a real firecracker.
Yes.
And that the energy which is going from her performances is quite exciting. But just looking at the screen, no, she's not that balletic. I mean, maybe that's why they chose Kitri, because she's supposed to be this firecracker, She's supposed to be, I don't know, joyful, in-your-face character, and she does that well. But when she starts her opening pose and when she does, a couple of those supposedly balletic opening poses, I do this. Yeah. And then when she started, of course, then towards the end she starts jumping, and that's stunning. Yeah.
Yes.
Because Dave, you made the point when we were talking earlier about her when she does the above the head arm positions, it is with such commitment and such strength that not only is it harder to jump that way, but it is aesthetically very exciting, unlike some of the other girls.
When Maria Sotskova is doing...
Well, you know what? Actually, I'm going to ask you, because when they were replying Konstantinova's jumps, and it was a free skate, and it was a phenomenal free skate, but every time she did an arm up, she would basically put it on her head.
Yeah.
Flat. like parallel,
which is like it's not as difficult. Let's be honest. Like, if you really, the point of the arm is you're raising your abdomen, right? You're raising the muscles there, and you're shifting your center of balance higher. So when you're going like this, it's raising your entire frame here.
You become
and it's making it more difficult, and it's centering. And when you're just going like this, I mean, I've tried to do that on the ice. That's like an adult skater. Like, come on, it's not the same thing. So that's why when you see Brian Boitano do that Tano Lutz, it's really something, because not all arms are created equally.
Not all arms are good. Like when Adam Rippon does his, I don't know if he still does it this year, but when he does it, it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, of course.
But the short program.
And when Zagitova does it, it is with such commitment,
such
that it's
amplitude, such wonderfulness. Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Now, is Eteri a little tough on her? I feel like Eteri is trying to make her second Olympic champion. Like, she is trying to make sure that she has two that could win the Olympics instead of, we don't have another Yulia here where she thinks she has the winner, and then
she's going to have the Yulia and the Adelina.
Yeah, she's going to make sure she has the Olympic. She is tough on that Alina, because.
But don't you think Eteri is tough on everybody? I mean, don't you think she's, the moment any of her girls make a mistake, it's complete.
Not on Medvedeva, because I think Medvedeva is even tougher than she is. So I think that she is intimidated by Evgenia, by Xenia.
Well, and I'm intrigued from. I mean, Dina, this happens all the time in singing, right? Where a singer will be performing, and if the teacher is there, the teacher can either be like, "Oh, it didn't go so well, but they're so good in practice," or they're very easy for them to be like, "I don't know, they messed up. That's not what I told them to do," or something. I felt like Eteri is very much like, okay, she may have made mistakes, but that's not my problem. That's not my fault. Yeah. Or is she trying to create a tougher competitor out of these kids? I can't quite tell what the motivation for that very clear lack of filter is about.
Well, what did that Eteri do to Zagitova, but she didn't do to anybody else?
The best reaction was in France in the short program. It's just the attitude when she hands her guards, because Eteri will always hand you your guards, and she helps put the jacket on. But that doesn't mean she's going to look at you as she puts the jacket on. Because when Surskaya finished ice, she was talking to her and looking away from her, like, in total disgust.
That's my sort of general impression is that she sort of has this completely detached look and slightly to the side.
Yes. Yeah. My other favorite story is how Eteri claims that she survived the Oklahoma City bombing, which she was like in a YMCA across the street, or like there's all sorts of like truthiness to this.
Did you see that documentary, Dina? The one we're talking about?
1+1.
Okay.
No.
It has the deaf daughter. The deaf daughter who is skating with 103 fever. And she can't land anything. And Eteri is not happy with her that day because she can't land the jumps. Thankfully, they let her go to ice dance, which we knew was going to happen. And she is just crying and upset, but Medvedeva is doing the program where she's learning to hear for the first time. It's a stunner. That is a very good documentary.
You should check out that documentary. And it talks about how Eteri was like on a dance tour in Oklahoma City during the Oklahoma City bombing, and her apartment or their hotel was across the street. So yeah, I was intrigued if that had any, when all of our Russian documentaries, articles, all of these things are secondhand and based on, we're subjected to the translation we're given. Yeah. So many times when we read these, like, probably great columns from Russian sports journalists, it doesn't make a lick of sense. Or when they translate, all these documentaries, you're like, that can't possibly be the right translation. So I was curious if you saw it, but okay.
But Eteri doesn't yell in the documentary. They say that she yells often, but they don't show her yelling in that.
Okay. She kept it cool.
She kept it very... She knew what she was doing when she was there, but the look says everything. So, what do you think of Maria Sotskova? Because I am not the biggest fan.
So take us on this name also.
I believe that she
Maria?
is getting the Teska bump a little bit in
I
Russia.
think, yeah. Well, the name pronunciation was perfect. Keep it just like that.
Zdilina, okay.
I'm
Zdorova.
petting the dog, by the way. I don't know if you can see, but I'm sitting with a newly adopted dog, and he's lying right here.
Oh.
Anyway, it's Sotskova.
Sotskova.
In fact, because that particular name doesn't have an obvious Russian core word related to it, they could be Sotskova or Satskova. And in fact, Tarasova, in one in one of those commentaries, I think the previous competition, tried to say both of those versions in one program, because there is really...
It could go either way. So either on the first or second syllable. Sotskova or Sotskova. Okay.
Sotskova or Sotskova. But in this Russian Nationals, I specifically listened very carefully for that, and everybody said Sotskova. So the announcer says, so it's Sotskova.
Okay.
Well, yes, I think there is a feeling that Juliana was shooting, and from all their interviews I read over the years, it seems that Sotskova is a very good student. Like, she listens, she's calm, she practices really hard. Like, there is not a complaint that Buyanova or Tarasova, they always throw it with your nerves, your motivation, your this and that. It seems that Sotskova is this ideal pupil. So she's definitely earned the love of the club and the love of the powers that be. Me, myself, I know, Jonathan, I think you like her, right?
No. This is revisionist history. I don't dislike her like everyone else does. I have a special place in my heart for her because she's very tall. So I always root for the giraffe-looking skaters. Right. And in the same way that I gave Paulina Edmonds too much credit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Were you into Volchkova?
Yeah, why not? How tall are you? Let's see. We've got to stick together. So, and sometimes I do notice a lack of X factor, perhaps, that someone like Rodionova just has in spades. But there's something also in the context of all the other cluttered Russian programs to see it that it was a break for a moment. It was kind of a refreshing break when she skated.
My refreshing break was Alena Kostarnaya, because the girl is 14?
Yeah.
There is a single gesture which is out of place, which is too hectic. She knows exactly what gesture she places when and why, and it is so refined. I just don't know. Who knows what she's going to be in 2 years? But it's so refined. I mean, even Sotkova, I don't think is as refined as Kostarnaya.
Yeah.
How long has Kostarnaya been with Eteri for? Is she looks?
Briefly.
Yeah, it's just this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's she. I don't remember where she. I can quickly Google it, but I don't remember where
she looks new. She looks new to that club, She looks.
But see, I'm curious. Does that? I don't know that club would necessarily take away that innate, beautiful sense of movement. I just don't know that they would teach it to you if you didn't have it. Yeah. But because she has this intangible quality where every move is motivated. Every gesture has purpose, which in a lot of these very busy programs, it's exhausting to give every movement purpose.
It is exhausting to watch. I mean, I was trying to analyze again this year. I'm still watching everything, but I don't invest quite so much. And I was trying to analyze, and I think it's because of that. I get exhausted looking at the hands going whichever way.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Of course, it's been going on for years. But Kostarnaya is extreme. Kostarnaya is like, I don't know, mini Costner, when the gesture has a meaning. It is so refreshing to see. I'm in love with her a little bit.
Yeah.
But back to Sotskova. Jonathan, I basically agree. I mean, I see all the nice things that they're trying to package her as this sort of ethereal ice queen, and it works a little bit, but it's not. if they were to package her as ethereal, sort of this ice goddess, there has to be more inspiration in her skating. You know, like if the gesture is prolonged, then it should be more prolonged. And it's just more commitment. I mean, she's lovely. She's lovely, and she's tall, and her jumps are high. And Tarasova was sort of oohing and eyeing about how high her jumps were, even in the long program, which she sort of, was not exactly the cleanest program in the world. But I think it's probably the X factor, that I don't really see.
No, Rodionova has all of the X factor, none of the refinement. And is she a difficult student? I have a feeling she may be a more difficult student than Maria.
Oh, I'm sure.
But you see...
Yes. Sorry, you're breaking.
Yeah, Matt, Kiss and Cry. And this is the new one.
This is a new coach. Yeah. He's saying that she literally moved like 10 feet across the boards from Arina Goncharenko to Buyanova. But yeah, she must be a difficult student, right? She seems full of theatrics at all times.
Maybe, and also, I have to say, from the very beginning of the year, when Buyanova was giving interviews, she was always extremely complimentary of Sotskova. Again, most importantly, her work ethic. It was like her work ethic. She's such an easy student. She listens. She does everything 25 times. And she was much less committal about Rodionova. She always would say, we'll see. So I don't know if from the very beginning of the year the push was for Sotskova already, or whether it's because she knew Rodionova so well that she knew that maybe there'll be more ups and downs, or maybe more work on jumping technique. I'm not sure. But Buyanova gave several interviews at the beginning of the year, and all of them had a push for Sotskova.
Rodionova hasn't looked to be in as good of shape this year. Compared to last year, years past, she's just looked a little off for the Olympic season. It has not.
Amazing how things change. I mean, Rodionova and Tuktamysheva were just babies, in our memory.
Well, and that's what's so interesting. The fact that in these 4 years since Sochi, we have seen an entire generation of Russian stars and champions come and go. And entirely new ones come, and it's pretty amazing, that turnover rate.
Yeah,
something we definitely don't have in North America.
So many people were pulling for Voronov, and why so many people are upset that he didn't make it.
Yeah. Now, how about Tuktamysheva? Within Russia, is it thought that her time is over? What is the? It looks like she really had that one great year, and that it's been steadily kind of falling since then.
Well, I think there is a feeling. Well, again, I've been in the U.S. for decades now, so within Russia, it's only.
But how does Tarasova speak of her? What is?
I think the feeling is, and I don't quite recall if Tarasova said that this time or not, but definitely there is a general feeling I get that without triple axel, she's not competitive. I know what Tarasova said. Tarasova was pretty rough on her, actually, commentating at Russian nationals, and she was harping on her skating skills.
Okay.
And we all, I think it's been said over the years, that her choreography is not as hard, that she's slower, etc. But I don't think it has been vocalized by somebody as big as Tarasova in front of the whole sort of Russian nation before Russian nationals. Yeah, Tarasova was rather critical and basically said that without triple axel, she's not going places.
She's never been very agile on the ice. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Jim.
Dave, who else was critical about Tuktamysheva?
World champion Ty Babylonia was very upset about those dirty boots and those filthy laces that she had going on.
And Rudy Galindo agreed.
As did Adam Rapon. Yeah.
Okay. So clean your boots.
Clean your boots, girl. That's considered a big faux pas, to go. Remember in Frank Carroll, he was like, Michelle Kwan went out at those nationals with those filthy boots and those homespun dresses in 92.
Because we're talking about unpredictability of Russian pronunciation today, everybody, including Tarasova and commentators, say Tuktamysheva like we do. Now there is this little clip on YouTube of Lisa herself saying her name. and she introduces herself as Lisa Tuktamysheva.
Tuktamysheva.
The top.
Tuktamysheva. Is that why Terry Gannon says Tuktamysheva? And you never want to be mooing on the ice, but she's not the tiniest skater. It just seems really.
I don't know, but she herself says it slightly differently.
Okay.
So how do you pronounce? Is it Pogorilaya? Is that how?
Yeah, Pogorilaya. Mm-hmm.
Now, are you believing?
See, because I always say
injury
Pogorilaya, but it's Pogorilaya.
Pogorilaya.
Okay.
Why is Anna no longer with us? Do you think that Anna will return to us, or will she go off in a nice show? What is happening?
I don't know. I know that, again, I'm just translating Tarasova's words because I recently heard them. She actually addressed Pogorilaya during Russian Nationals, saying, Anna, we miss you. Of course, she was as tough on Pogorilaya as anybody commentating when Pogorilaya had her breakdowns. Tarasova was very tough on her. Now she switched into the motherly mode, and now she says, Anna, come back to the ice. I guess she hasn't been on ice at all. She says, Anna, come back to the ice. Come back, my darling. Oh, you miss it. And then she said, and if it's an injury, just start slowly and we'll help you. And if you don't want to compete anymore, come and do shows. There is a lot of satisfaction in doing shows. So there's this little...
She said this all on the air?
Yes. No, she said it all on the air. And so my feeling was listening to that is that right now Anna is not on ice at all. Mm-hmm. So she's sort of taking a break, maybe trying to heal, maybe trying to emotionally heal, maybe both. Mm-hmm. And her future is completely unclear, even to the insiders.
Now, Yulia right now doesn't want to do shows.
Yulia, right. Yeah. Yulia doesn't want to do. At least Yulia was commentating. You know that Yulia is commentating on a competing TV channel, and she gets very good feedback. I mean, she's a very good commentator. She's compassionate. She's knowledgeable. I think she gets thumbs up.
What does she say about Eteri? Because once she went through puberty, Eteri wanted nothing to do with her, if you remember, and she blamed the mother, and she washed her hands of that situation.
The Russian channel was not accessible in the US, so I sort of had to, the live stream was not accessible in the US because it's blocked, so I had to listen to Tarasova.
Had to.
So for the next time, I could specifically listen to Julia and her comments and just do 5 minutes do a 5-minute segment to tell you what she says. This time I don't know. I know that she does not say anything controversial, Julia.
So she's a fascinating girl because she used to like every single Instagram post I put on, which returns my eternal love for Sunny Lipnitskaya because I always liked her skating. She likes every single Instagram post that I will post, except for if it involves Medvedeva. I think that is fascinating. That is the one person whose posts she will never...
This is where she draws a line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think we have very similar skating tastes. She likes Kostner and a lot of the more balletic skaters, and if it involves,
she's not satisfying you with her life.
She's not happy with the little bear. Okay, she is not doing it. Yeah.
I don't think we can. Yeah, I don't think we can ask people to rise above things so much.
You'd be nervous about competing against Tarasova because I notice she seems to be very good friends with Putin. She seems to be very connected. I would like to keep her on my good side at all times. I wouldn't want to compete on a rival network. That would make me nervous.
Oh, you mean compete as in Yulia compete?
Yes. Yulia being on a rival channel to Tarasova, I would want her blessing first.
You're taking it far. I think it's fine. I really think it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would want to make sure she's okay, you know.
Yeah, have the blessing before you begin your commentating career.
Yes, I think she's just fine. Yeah, both, and Elena, who also commentates.
How is Elena as a commentator?
Again, I heard some of Lipnitskaya. It's only hearsay about Elena, but people do like them, both of them. I mean, Lipnitskaya commentates more. She basically commentated almost the whole year, several competitions. And people generally like it a lot. And she, again, seems very technically good and very compassionate. One little tidbit I know about Ilyinych is that she almost started crying when Nikita had his injury, on ice injury. Like she herself noticed when during the warm-up, Nikita, pulled something they were doing in element, and then you could see that his foot is twisting, his lower foot, and then that's probably when the injury started.
Okay.
Well, but she noticed it right away, and she said, so she was very compassionate to Nikita on air, which people seem to really appreciate and be surprised about.
So I think they will skate together next season, whether it's in a show or because did you know that he had a tryout with Elena over the summer before he stuck with Victoria? He and Nikita and Elena skated together, and Tarasova was there. There were several other members of the federation this summer. He had a tryout. And I mean, Victoria, I think, doesn't know, but he did the same thing to Elena with Victoria 4 years ago. Like, they are like Bobby and Whitney, I really think.
Yeah, they are, yeah. Yeah. And it's sort of this ridiculous theory in my brain, pop psychology, but I almost think that Yelena's sort of this committed theatricality and general theatrics on ice and off ice maybe took Nikita a little bit out of his head because she was so big that he didn't have, like Jonathan, when we're performing, we have partners who are just sort of so big and you never know what to expect, you focus on them and maybe you focus on yourself a little more, you're a little less nervous, so you need to concentrate on them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's my pop psychology moment, that I almost think that Helena, and of course Nikita also made mistakes with Helena. We all know they both made mistakes all the time.
But they were equals. They were two.
Exactly. And now that Nikita doesn't have somebody bigger than life, and I like Victoria quite a bit, but now that he doesn't have somebody bigger than life, to sort of constantly be afraid of, to admire, constantly to occupy his mind, and he has to carry the show, he got completely paranoid. It seems that
fascinated by who Elena was skating with this year. She was skating with Anton Shibnev, who skated with Morozov's wife. Now, obviously, Elena was romantically linked with Morozov for years, and then now he goes to Shibnev, who this is a drama. Like, we cannot...
Yes, yeah.
And Shibnev is wanted at the courthouse in Hackensack. I mean, it is all sorts of interesting on why we have not seen this.
Helena is so much better than all of that. Yeah,
they need to get back together. They just stop it.
Even like you say, even if it's potentially just for the shows.
I will watch it. Okay, I'll watch it.
Exactly.
Okay. Do we still skate with the celebrities in Russia, where Tarasova judges and?
I don't believe this year, but it was going on for a long, long, long time, yeah.
We need to bring it back with Elena, Nikita. Yes. That's where Gordieva skated with that actor, and that she didn't like... Yes.
Yegor Beroev, yeah.
Yeah, those were some programs to watch.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
I remember that year.
Yes. Right. Jonathan, have you seen those programs?
Where was the Averbuch, the Holocaust program? That was on that program.
That was on that program last year, right? Why does Averbuch love the Holocaust so much?
Yeah, he draws a lot of inspiration from it. Yeah.
Well, I think partially might be because, he's Jewish, but I think he's just so married to the theatricality.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I read his comments about some other program, don't recall which one right now, but he was saying, oh, I don't like that because it doesn't have enough theater for me, you know. So for him, anything which is put on an ice, you remember 9/11 program, you know?
Yeah. Yes,
was that
we do.
startling to you that she actually did that? Was that a little...
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, well, Medvedev's voiceovers were also extremely startling. Just, I was talking about 9/11 with Lobacheva and Verbuch, but
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
where she was like the falling second tower
Yeah.
in that.
yeah, they were. Yeah, I think part of it is maybe, well, you know, in Russia, people grow up constantly seeing things about Second World War. I mean, it is so ingrained in the culture because it's such a big historical. It was 4 years in Russia, you know, and
Right.
millions. I mean, we all, you know, grow up watching these pictures of Russian partisans being hung on the trees by German troops. So maybe there is no sense that it's a delicate subject because everybody's grandparents and great-grandparents were in the war and they either survived or they didn't, but it's so at least when I was growing up in my generation, I'm sure right now too, it is so present that maybe there is less of a feeling you can traumatize somebody by, you know, recreating the sounds of people who are falling from the towers because the whole country had their own people falling from the towers. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that does make sense. Yeah.
23 million has perished, you know, and everybody's relative has died. And ever since we were little, it's on TV, it's in the movies, it's graphic. You know, the main heroes die shot at the last second of the movie. So it's possible that there's a
It
little
carries less shock value, you're saying, as it holds for us. Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
Jonathan and
And when somebody, and then when somebody so as theatrical as a Verbuch wants to sort of make the biggest impact, he automatically go towards the most trigger subjects.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Jonathan and I have our own idea for a theatrical free dance that we came up with a month or two ago, and I want to
That's
know
right.
your thoughts on it. So I don't know if
Okay.
you're familiar with the song "Господи помилуй," the
Well,
Lord have mercy, right? Well,
Uh-huh.
you know, which is in the Russian Orthodox Church, where you know you keep singing it, and it's supposed to represent the cross going up and down. So we thought that when Elena and Nikita get back together, they could skate this program choreographed by Tarasova, black costumes, glittery crosses, like Grishuk and Platov.
Oh, Ponomarenko, like Klimov and Ponomarenko hair. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be Elena and Nikita, choreographed by Tarasova. And if she could have some sort of a babushka or something and be bless herself frequently in the program, I think it could be really meaningful for all of us.
So thanks for your approval on that, Dina.
And you need to write an email. Put it on Instagram.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to feel something like I used to feel when Pasha was skating. I think that is really, I don't think that we ever...
That's what's missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay,
just a couple of translation things to
Yes,
go,
go.
or pronunciation things. If we go back to the ladies, Paulina T.
Surskaya.
Surskaya.
So on the
Turskaya.
first syllable,
Yeah.
Turskaya.
So the S doesn't really exist. It's Turskaya, right?
Yeah, it exists. It's S.
S.
It's
T.
its own.
Surskaya.
It's its own letter, like, but it's
Surskaya.
yes. S.
S.
S. Surskaya.
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 Okay. Okay.
You want to try?
Surskaya.
Try it, Dave.
Like Surskaya.
Oh, Dave, right. Surskaya. Good job.
Surskaya.
Yes.
Yeah. Easy peasy. Paulina T also works in a pinch.
But that single Lutz and that level 2 step sequence just sunk her. I mean, Eteri is never going to give her the time of day anymore. She has my daughter, Sherbakova. How do we pronounce that?
Bakova.
Sherbakova. We have
And
Sherbakova.
Seva. Trusova. Remember
Trusova?
Trusova? The one
Yes, but my one that broke her leg and is back skating again weeks later. That is my kind of a girl.
And she'll be at Russian Junior Nationals.
Nationals, which will be equally as exciting. Because
Yeah.
Jonathan and I, we're done with these old broads. Okay, we want the new ones.
Bring on the new talents.
Yes. Why is Leonova still competing? What did Tarasova have to say about this?
I didn't watch Leonova. I just looked at her results. So I don't know what Tarasova had to say. Well, you know that if you are in the team, you get government funding.
Yeah.
So I think she probably likes competing. She probably likes her training camp. She
competed. For her, she competed very well on the Grand Prix this year. The judges weren't interested, but she had some really nice moments for her. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But not Russian nationals I just looked at the scores and I said, no.
Yeah.
Now, how are you feeling about the team event? Because Kolyada, right? Is that how we're...
Yeah.
He really didn't deliver here, and if it's going to be between Russia and Canada for the gold, and obviously Mother Russia needs to win, is he going to step up for the Olympics?
Honestly, I think my feeling is that they will. I don't know if they'll beat Canada, but my feeling is they will step up because the feeling would be that we need to prove everybody how good we are. And if during individual event it could be too much pressure, I think for a team event it could be a great motivator. It's complete pop psychology, but I think team event for Russia, they'll put all their forces to sort of prove the world how good they are.
And of course, it will depend on, especially in the men's event, the judges very much respond to him in rewarding him with PCS. But of course, they're going to respond to Patrick more if he actually has a decent showing and does more than a triple toe loop.
What's happening with Patrick? I mean, from what I understand, he barely trains, or
Well, we saw him do a triple toe the other day. That was promising that he was in the rink. I was very
step one.
That was step one. He is going to ask Ravi Walya for a couple of lessons. I mean, at this point, no one wants to really take the responsibility for Patrick. People will give you their opinion on that off the record. No one will say it on. But I'll be curious what Patrick's a real natural talent, so I think he'll do something. I've noticed that PJ Kwong recently, who's our good flag waver for Canada, was interviewing their president, and they were already setting in motion the politics for that maybe we will name someone to the team who doesn't even compete at the nationals if they're unable to compete. And you're like, who would be unable to compete? And she's like, well, that seems great. You know, you want someone to peak at the right time. Like, PJ.
Playing the groundwork.
Stop playing the nice girl.
I mean, you never can discard Patrick. Never. And of course, if he jumps, his PCS will be higher than Kolyada's. Though, as you say, Kolyada gets...
He gets some real marks.
He'll get real technical and real PCS as well. Yeah. Real high.
Now, how about the pair event? We have had decades of beautiful Russian pair skating from the Potopovs, Gordieva and Grenkov, Miskychanak and Dmitriev, Bereshnaya Sikorlitsa, and now we have Nina Mosier, who's giving us the Christina Aguilera program for Tarasova and Morozov. I mean, what do you make of this team, this program?
By the way, you did notice that Moser wasn't there, right? She was in the she was sick. She went to the hospital several weeks ago, and from what I understand, the doctors told her that she cannot be at the nationals. So she wasn't there for any of them, and Tarasova kept saying, "Oh, come back, come back."
Yes.
Because they need her.
Yeah.
Well, what can I what can I say? What can I say? Yes, I actually don't mind Aguilera as much as some, but the whole program doesn't work. For me, the end works worse than the beginning, but that's just my take. When they start at Vuliva Kushevek, Moa, I just go, because it requires a certain attitude, which those two beautiful skaters just don't possess. You know, when they go in the beginning with the Golera, I mean, the Yevgenia can be flirty, and she's flirty in the beginning, and it's a quick tempo, and I don't mind about panties dropping. I think it's okay. But when we switch the music and it becomes the sort of sultry, sexy, you know, from him.
It's when I start to lose focus.
I lose focus completely, And if they can get technical, fine, but they certainly have they have amazing competition. The Savchenko's programs and Suihan's programs are tremendous this year.
Yeah.
So it's the level is just doesn't.
And we're saying it right. Tarasova and Morozov.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, comparing them specifically with Stolbova and Klimov, right?
Mm-hmm.
I prefer Tarasova and Morozov's twist. I really prefer their lifts. But almost in a way, the general pairing I enjoy more from Stolbova and Klimov in a way.
Because she has that attitude that Maria Sotskova does not have.
Exactly. I mean, how do we compare the other qualities of them? Because now the judges clearly always give the skating skills mark to Tarasova and Morozov, and Nationals here was no different. But in general, there is something about the pairing, maybe in the similarities of height and the similarities in overall quality that match better almost for me with Stolbova and Klimov.
To me, Stolbova and Klimov have tremendous skating skills and expression. You know, just I think Stolbova's skating skills are second to none. You know, maybe maybe Alona or Sui, but
his are not as good.
Klimov's.
No, the Klimov's maybe not as good, but I love them. They're an excellent pair, and I've seen them live a couple of times, and they always have tremendous presence. You know, you probably also, I mean, tremendous presence on ice. Ksenia has been making all these mistakes this year. It's remember the deaths there when when Klimov fell at the end of Europeans, and Ksenia just couldn't forgive him, and then after that they didn't go to Worlds, and just there was so much bad blood which seems to have come from one little fall, but she's the one who's messing up everything this year. You know, every competition, it's her, and especially on jumps, and I'm not sure what's happening. Tarasova says maybe she lacks motivation. I mean, the commentator, Tatiana Tarasova. But I don't think...
And the intriguing thing is, sometimes with these amazing throws, and this is very much also the Chinese technique, is they hurl the girl so hard that actually, and the French do this too, when you see them release, they almost trip forward, right? In these big moments. And Fedor is not doing that. Like in the short program and things like that, he maintains a balance and kind of is able to achieve a nice throw, because our eye is automatically drawn to the woman. But a lot of these guys, it literally looks like they trip and just fling her up in the air. But his technique is much more still in those throw releases. And it's kind of much more aesthetically pleasing to me, but I would assume makes it a bit harder in a way. But that was something I was more in tune to, seeing them back-to-back this time.
Now, in terms of the ice dancers, there's been rumblings that Soloviev wants a new partner, that perhaps Bobrova does not want to continue. Is this being reported in the Russian press? And
Yes. It's the latest interview they gave, which was actually a quite extensive interview after they won their nationals. It's completely official. They're saying they're taking a break for 1 year, but it's not exactly clear if Solovyov is going to start practicing with somebody else right away. I think they're keeping it open. Basically, Bobrova wants to take time out. It's likely that she wants to try to get pregnant. She says that she gives Solovyov all her blessing. If she wants to try with a different partner, he can. If he decides to continue with a different partner, he can. If he decides he doesn't want to, they'll get together and do shows or come back to competition if she feels like it. So it's completely open. But yes, he is looking for a new partner, and there are rumors that he knows who it is, and she is taking a break and enjoying her family.
Is there speculation on who the partner is? Maybe it's Victoria.
That would not be too bad. If Katsalapov can reunite with Ilyinych and Solovyov can try it with Victoria, who has beautiful lines, and they would match height-wise, that's not the worst of the possibilities.
Now, what do you think, Dave, is happening with your girl Annabelle?
Well, I think Nikolai is partner shopping all over Russian nationals for Annabelle, but I think that she had an okay first outing. She had some nice qualities, but there's a lot of work to do. But
some twizzle issues, but some nice qualities.
They need a partner who's more into the practicing, perhaps, than they currently have. This partnership looked to be temporary. I mean, the height difference
just keeping her
out of control. Yeah. This is I mean, I think there are there's Bozin and there's Drozd. How do you pronounce Drozd? How do we pronounce it?
Drozd.
Okay.
Drozd, yeah.
Yeah. This is not the. I think but what do you? Stepanova and Bukin. Were you surprised they didn't win here? Because they have obviously.
And how are you saying that, Dina? How do you say her?
Dave is perfect. Stepanova and Bukin.
How do you say perfect in Russia? What's the word?
No, you know what? People don't really say perfect. People say молодец. Молодец. It's like job great, well done.
Молодец. Yes. So Stepanova Bukin, obviously Tarasova is very complimentary of this team.
Well, she loved, but in fact, she even did a disclaimer. She said, when she was commentating nationals, she said, I hear the rumors that people say that I get too emotionally involved with Stepanova Bukin. And then she went, of course I get emotionally involved with them. The Bestiemyanova Bukin are my favorite. Bukin met his wife while training at Tarasova's. They were both training in the same camp. So she said, I saw them through their relationship, through their marriage, through Ivan's birth. Of course, I'm emotional about them. And then, of course, she says, but it doesn't matter because they are such hard workers and they don't get any particular support, a bonus. They do everything themselves. I think if Bobrova-Solovyov made mistakes and Stepanova Bukin didn't, the federation was ready to crisscross them. But Bobrova-Solovyov were at the absolute top of what they could do. So Stepanova weren't.
As a skater, Julin was known for being so imaginative, so beautiful, the most gorgeous lines, the most gorgeous extension, the most gorgeous partner. What is going on with Bobrova? I mean, why is the limbs are just not the same stretch? It's not the same quality that you would expect from him, from all the years that we saw him, especially making those programs that he competed for so many years.
I don't know, but I think some people can be only taught so much, right, Jonathan? I think she came to him already sort of complete, finished skater, so a grown-up woman. So maybe he tries to do with her, find the programs like the crazy, the sumасшедшие, the crazy people, or
yes.
Sort of going towards creative when her limbs are not a distraction, but it's more sort of modern dance rather than classical. Yeah.
She's another Sotskova personality. My coach once described her as being a piece of meat without salt or pepper, and that's how I still. I don't think that they are the best contender for the bronze medal. I think at the Olympics, I think it'll be tough for them.
I think it'll be tough for them as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just happy for them that they sort of rose the pressure during the nationals because. Yeah. I was rooting for them, I have to say. To sort of finish their career as national champions, because they had so many bad breaks, and that Meldonium scandal during the year when they had their best program, which, I think Anna Karenina was their best program of the latest years, and it did seem to fit them, and they couldn't go to worlds with it. I think they deserve a little bit of a positive break. That's, they're not my favorites, but they seem like nice people, hardworking people. Yes, they don't have this tremendous it factor of the top two teams, who are just bigger than life, all four of them, both Ron and Verchimor. They're not. They're just a good team, not inspiring that way.
Now, what's interesting is that the Russian judge voted to put the French person at the Grand Prix final, but I've always heard that within Russia, Verchimor are the more respected team. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Well, they were, I think, it started with the Verchimor-Davis White wars, and because Verchimor always had more classical approach, again, as you say, every gesture finished, etc., then they created a tremendous fan base in Russia because it was more of a classical Russian skating. And now, I think now it's more complex than that, but it carries over. It carries some.
Now, are you following the doping scandal and everything that's been going on with them?
With Russians, you mean? You don't mean with Russians?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I am.
I guess is there coverage of that? Did they discuss that during the Nationals? Did Tarasova discuss that at all?
They did not discuss it very much during the Nationals. I think once Putin went on TV and made his big speech how we are not going to hold our athletes back, everything went. It's not exactly. I was talking to my mom yesterday, who is in Moscow, and she was saying, well, because she watched a little bit of Nationals on TV, and she was saying, yes, but we don't know, are they going to be allowed to compete? And my feeling from here is that it's all clear sailing from now on. I mean, once Putin said we're not going to prevent our athletes to compete, and once pretty much every athlete on record went and said we would prefer to compete under Russian flag, but we're happy to compete no matter what, that unless they've been involved in some particular drug scandal, which nothing I know of, that they're to go. I mean, of course, they were not named yet, so we don't know. But
right.
I think it's smooth sailing. I think
it's smooth sailing
for skating. Maybe not for some of the other sports. I think that's more up in the air, especially. But yeah, I think skating. You could not have skating without Russia. Come on, there's just.
I think sports like biathlon, they're in big trouble because there were so many people who were recently stripped of the medals that it's a tainted sport. So I don't know what they're going to do. But with skating, it's different.
Who watches the biathlon anyway? And what?
Actually, half of Russia watches biathlon.
Whatever. I don't understand. Why are we skiing and shooting at the same time? It doesn't make a lick of sense to me. Okay.
It's a huge sport, and it's extremely popular.
Well, to each their own, okay?
Exactly. Okay, just in circling back to some of my artsy guys, because I know Dina and I are like-minded and we love our artistic men.
We do love artistic men, yes.
So let's talk about our friend, how do you say it? Aliyev?
Yeah, Aliyev.
Aliyev. He has so much potential to be such an artist.
He does.
And my fear is that it's not being fostered, in the way I hoped it would be fostered. He still has these beautiful moments, but I want someone to draw even more out of him.
He has not trained this last pretty much since September. He barely trained. I mean, it was miracle that he showed up because something which happened to him very similar to what happened to Stalbova and her boots. He got an infection, or he started working with the boots, with the new boots, and his feet started swelling like more than normal. I think all skaters' feet swell, right? To a degree. But his feet started sort of getting black and swelling and being extremely painful. So he couldn't train. He couldn't train. They were trying to find the boots, and he had to take months off, or like with minimum physical training. And Tarasova was talking about it throughout the Grand Prix season. So supposedly he got better during last month, and he upped his training a little bit. But he already less than a lot of other guys throughout the years. Like, he's such a beautiful. He has such beautiful skating skills, and he's so emotive, you know. And he's such an emo boy, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It comes from within. There's a sense of performance, a sense of sensitivity that is there that I hope is cultivated over the next few seasons.
Translated his interviews and years go by, and he definitely says that music affects him emotionally when he skates. He even was talking about that sometimes he feels so much during music that it's hard for him to skate, that he needs to find the balance between feeling overwhelmed by emotion and not feeling enough emotion. So it's help rather than hindrance. So he's definitely an emo boy. Yeah.
Well, and Dina, let's be honest. A lot of people say they like music. A lot of skaters say that they really respond to the music, and it's not. You don't always see that. But with him, you see it within, and it's the deportment and carriage. His back is so wide. His arms are finished. It's just really nice.
So beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's a lovely skater, but
now
he doesn't have the stamina right now. So who knows what's going to be at Euros?
Okay.
So because, for example, if Voronov, my feeling was that Voronov screwed up because he was so nervous, he so wanted it that he just, he started popping right and left. Aliyev screwed up not because he was nervous, but just because he doesn't have the physical training. He doesn't run the programs because he can't. He's still in pain.
Yeah.
Now, can you explain about Kovtun and Katsalapov? Now, Tarasova was not agreeing with Ilyinik, and what did she have to say about those boys? Because she does know, especially Kovtun, rather well.
Well, I have a feeling she gave up on Kovtun. She gave up because what she was saying, that can't he understand that he can? That he recorded a CD album, right? Like he's promoting. He's a rapper. Kovtun is a rapper, and you can actually find it on YouTube. He writes his own music, and he has a band, and he raps. And he recently released an album, and Tarasova was saying that can't he understand? I know that he wants to do music, but can't he understand that he can do training for 4 hours and music for the rest of the time, or something like that? But he still needs to train. So she gave up on him. She thinks that his mind is not in it. He's just not in it. Yeah.
Didn't she say that they were mentally unable to fight through pain in competition? That he and Katsalapov were.
No doubt. Yes. I think so. She was very tough on Katsalapov when he quit. She basically was saying that it's all mental, and that he sort of freaks out emotionally if he makes a mistake and gives up after that. So, which might have been very unfair, because it seems that he did truly have an injury. I mean, but those two things can't coincide. The more people are nervous, the more prone to injury they are. It's axiom.
Yeah,
she was very tough. Yeah.
Okay, I have a really weird shout out, and I understand if you two guys did not watch this particular program because he ranked 11th. But it was very special to me, and it's a skater I'm maybe other people are very familiar with, and I wasn't. Artem Lezheez? Lezheez.
Okay, did not watch it, sweetheart.
No. I wouldn't think so. But Dave, he was one in the short program that
had the Jewish star.
Had the enormous Star of David on his thing. And I so responded to his skating. And so I know, again, he was
the costume.
11. Dave, I think he's family, if you get my... but the free program was to the list, the Liebestraum. But another one where they found strange vocals to it.
Oh my God.
So once I got past to that, it was exquisite. He had like John Curry arms. That's what it reminded me of, like vintage John Curry arms.
Wow. And I'll watch him for sure.
The free. And there were some technical issues. And I don't know what Tarasova was saying, obviously, but I saw this like great, like artistic young talent that was having some issues with the jumps. He did not attempt any quads, but she mentioned Jason Brown's name about 10 times throughout that program. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting the gist of where she sits here. But it was just, it was a fun discovery for me.
Fantastic. Do you know who his coach is or how young he is or anything?
I know nothing.
Okay.
I was hoping, Dina. Okay.
Now, what happened to Eteri's boy? He was a single skater 2-3 seasons ago at the very top of Russia. And I'm blanking on his name.
I want to say Piseyev, but of course it's
Pitkeyev.
Pitkeyev, right.
He tried ice dance this year, but I think what is he doing now?
Because he was beautiful.
Yeah.
He was a beautiful skater.
He was a beautiful skater, and his back completely went out on him. He commentated some with Lipnitskaya, one of the early Grand Prix, and also people were saying it went quite well. I heard that he's looking for another partner.
Okay.
So he might not be quitting yet, but he's obviously not in the picture.
Okay.
And also, let's talk about...
No, but I think he's still trying to find a suitable dance partner. Not the last one, but he's looking.
Okay. I was also curious about Artur Dmitriev. The judges were giving him all the PCS, and I can't help but feel like this is some family situation because I just did not respond to the skating in any way. That felt like a bit of a chore to me to sit through both programs. It was tough to watch.
I have not watched him this year. I have watched him 4 years, and it has never changed.
Okay.
No, just no.
Yeah,
okay.
No.
Okay.
He's like the Russian. He's the Russian Amber Corwin. He keeps going. Okay, Jonathan. Every country has one.
And Samarin, how are you saying this, Dina?
Samarin.
Okay. And this was after he landed that very impressive quad lutz triple toe in the short. Tarasova went, hello. And to me, that means she's saying hello in a funny way. But is that what she would be saying?
Did you say allo?
Maybe.
No.
It sounded like she was saying like, hello.
I can quickly check.
No,
it's fine.
My favorite was that after one jump failed for someone, she just went, yeah. Oh, and also a side note before we get into Samarin. No, I'm not saying.
Samarin.
Okay.
Samarin.
He was a very low placing young man, but his name was Igor Murshov, maybe.
Okay, you know better.
And he was skating to a Stevie Wonder song with a shirt with a giant Stevie Wonder face on it for the free skate. And if you have some extra time, I may check out that costume because it is worth your time to look up that shirt.
Oh, and watch everybody from 6 down after this.
Yeah, exactly. So there it is.
Well, go ahead.
But for Samarin, I don't respond to it. But sometimes the jumps are so good he doesn't give the judges a choice. Yeah.
Samarin.
Samarin.
Yes, I agree with you. And in fact, his coach just gave an interview, which I haven't read, but just the headline was, "He's not an artistic skater. He's an athlete." So.
Yes, we're aware. We're aware of that situation.
Aware of this, yeah. But I mean, good for him. I mean, last year, Aliyev beat him during the junior worlds, right? Aliyev was second and Samarin was third. And Aliyev went into the injuries, and Samarin, I guess, kept training, and now he's above him. So, likely to the Olympics. Good for him, but he does absolutely nothing for me. Nothing.
So who is
doing it for you right now?
In Russia or anywhere?
In Russia, well, I do like Kalida. I mean, I like him a lot.
The short program especially.
It took me several viewings to get over the fact that Mozart is becoming a tango. It took me maybe even 5 viewings to realize that, to reconcile myself with those musical choices. But now that I'm used to it, I like it a bit. What I like about him is that he's so well-rounded. You know, he has such great skating skills, and he has such beautiful jump. I mean, his Lutz, when it's that one time it worked. Unbelievable. And his triple axels are just, out of this world, the best of the best. And I mean, it's for Russia these days to have a guy with speed and skating skills already seems like a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. Who doesn't leave to become a rapper? I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in posture, Kaptun had no posture, absolutely zero, and Kalida has very nice posture. It's a very good bearing.
Mm-hmm.
Who does it for me? Well, yes, Kalida and Aliyev, and I feel horrible for Voronov. I truly wish he would have performed better, because talk about the underdog. There was Menshov, and now there is Voronov, who, no, he doesn't have the best skating skills in the world. No, he doesn't have the most sophisticated programs. But at 30, to be doing so well on the Grand Prix, and he only had to be second, and he just fell apart, and he fell apart at the moment when he needed it most. And it was heartbreaking. And Tarasova, despite the fact that he's far from my favorite, and I saw him live, and I thought, years ago, and I thought it was, it's slow and plodding, and how can you, be like that? But in this particular instance, it was heartbreaking. And even Tarasov was the first time he popped his jump. He's like, Sergei, don't let go of your dream. And I'm like, there, and I'm tearing up because the second puff is like, it's over. And he really tried. I mean, he made so many changes in his career, and at 30 to be landing quads and to be trying to improve, he really deserved to go to these Olympics.
Yeah.
Now, are you following the Angels of Plushenko? Are you
No. I was a Yagudin girl back
me as well. But are you following? I mean, do you think that we will have more students that are coming up?
You mean those angels? Those angels, yes. I think so. I think Serafima Sakhanovich did much better, both in her Grand Prix and nationals that she's done for a long time. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think, and Plushenko is saying that he's working on Sakhanovich's double axel, which became wonky lately. Yes, I mean, that way, those angels. I thought you were talking about some fan group,
No.
Like Johnny's angels. Plushenko's angel.
No. That's the name of his rink. If you notice on the boards, it's called the Angels of Plushenko. Yeah.
All right. Yes. I think that's, yes. I'm very hopeful. I'm very, very hopeful. I think he did.
Where is that club located, Dave? Do you know?
I don't know. Is he in St. Petersburg still, or is he in Moscow now?
I think it's Moscow. I don't even know that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's Moscow. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's Moscow.
Yeah, he's no longer under Mishin's grasp, I guess.
That's clearly.
No, they never say bad things about it. They're very tight still. I mean, from what I understand, they never said bad things. They never had a falling out. Mm-hmm. They never had anything like that. Yeah. But I'm very hopeful about his students.
How about Romanov? Is he coaching anyone right now?
Not that I know of. I think he refused to leave Sochi, and until somebody goes to him, he just, I mean, I'm sure he coaches there, but not that I know.
Now, where is our friend Maria Bucherskaya? Because we see a lot of Irina Slutskaya.
I wish I had gone. I wish I had gotten like 20 questions, which I could have researched.
I know, but don't you miss Maria? I mean, she was always so nervous. I want to know, how are her nerves? How is she doing? Is her car blowing up? Is her boyfriend being attacked in the woods? There's a lot going on.
She's married to the hunk of a Russian hockey player who is significantly younger than she is, and she has a couple of kids, actually.
Yes.
No. Yeah. She has a beautiful young husband and I think a couple of kids. So she's great. Yeah. I occasionally see her pictures on like fashion magazines. She's looking beautiful.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, I love her in her day. I was rooting for her. Yeah. She had the it factor. I know she was slow, but she had it factor.
Yeah. Okay. But speaking of hunks, I have to say the hunk for me of Russian nationals was Alexei Roganov. Roganov? In the short program, I was like, oh my gosh, I need a moment. That bravo, +3. Yeah, that's great. That's really great.
Yeah, and we want to know, as we look forward to Europeans, do you expect Medvedeva to be there? I mean, what is her status? We have not.
They say she'll be there. What do I know? Tactically, it's probably wise for her to be there, don't you think? I mean, Zagitova is nipping at her heels.
I know. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for them to battle it out.
Yeah, yeah.
But now this seems that Nina Moser...
Yeah, go ahead.
The Nina Moser kind of strategy is to keep them apart as long as possible. So I'm curious how they play it, but they seem to thrive so much on competition.
Now, Sunny Lipnitskaya does like Zagitova's posts on Instagram, just so you know.
Which tells you something in and of itself. Yeah.
It really does. But I agree that I think because Medvedeva really cannot lose, without losing so much face, she probably will not go unless she's ready. I mean, the one would think that if it weren't for Zagitova, she could show up and make a mistake or two and still win, but now she can't. So now it's totally different kind of pressure.
No. And I don't mean to put you both on the spot. Do you know how many people Russia sends to Europeans for men and women? Three. For both. And have they named those 3?
Yes. It's Medvedeva, Zagitova, Sotskova, and then basically the winners, Kalida, Samarin, and Aliyev.
Yeah. Okay, so then who would replace Yevgenia if...
Surskaya, right?
I think Konstantinova, because she was 4th in Russia.
She's old enough.
Is she old enough? Yeah.
She's 17.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because this was one, also you said she...
Konstantinova is for sure. She's eligible to be an adult.
Because she had only done the one junior Grand Prix, and she was so solid here. That's why it makes sense when you say last season she was not as on fire. Because I was surprised she only had one Grand Prix assigned.
She only got one Grand Prix, and the Russian boards were saying that why? Because she's ready for seniors, and they're holding her back, and there are so many strong juniors that she cannot show herself. So now that she competed in seniors, sure, Kostarnaya was above her, because Kostarnaya is 14, so she's not eligible for anything this year.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Konstantinova is the first one to go if somebody drops out, and Surskaya is the second one.
Surskaya.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
I don't think we're gonna see Medvedeva until the Olympics. I think that is when we will see.
Yeah. And what do you think? What's your prediction?
I don't know. I think that Zagitova has had so many issues with the short program. My prediction is that if she messes up at Europeans on the short, she may not make it to the Olympics. Eteri may kill her. I think if she loses a title to Karolina Kostner, Eteri may send her to Siberia. I mean, I really...
It is unlikely, though. It's unlikely. Yeah.
I think she will do I think that Zagitova will win Europeans with a clean short and a clean long, and she will set up the Olympics in dramatic fashion. And
she's your Olympic gold choice.
No, I think she's my European gold choice, and I think that there will be very exciting practice sessions at the Olympics. I think that there is always some sort of a drama in skating, like when we had Mao and Yuna, and they were competing at such a high level. I think that Zagitova and Medvedeva, I think that they're going to enter the Olympics on kind of an even playing field with Zagitova doing such a beautiful triple Lutz, triple loop combination, having this momentum of all of these wins going into the event. I think it's kind of the natural progression of things that they both are very confident when they go out to skate there.
Ideally, they still should have a difference in PCS, but if Zagitova has so many wins, I don't know if it's going to be reflected for real. It's
not been reflected properly thus far, in my opinion. Yeah. So.
No, I would love to watch those practice. I would love to watch them train at home. Don't you? I want a good documentary about what is happening in that rink. I am fascinated by Sambo 70. That is...
Expose. Yep.
Yes. Well, we have so enjoyed having you on. We're going to need you to come back for the Olympics to explain everything to us, what is happening. Maybe we could have some sort of a book club where we can... Does Tarasova have books that we could all read together?
Not to my knowledge. She should. She really
should.
Are you
she should
sure
write
she
a
doesn't
book
have,
this
because
big.
Masvina has books,
yes,
you know?
That, yes.
Maybe we could read them like the Torah. It could be like Tarasova, Moskvina, Horkina. We could read all of their memoirs together.
Their scriptures, yeah.
Yes, scriptures.
No, Tarasova has so much. You know that she was married to a very prominent Russian pianist, Vladimir Krainev.
And he would stay in Germany when she was in the U.S., and that seemed to work for their marriage.
Well, he stayed in Germany because he taught in Germany for many, many years. Mm-hmm. But so she truly does need to write like a tome, 2,000 pages tome, because she has a view into skating, obviously, and also into the musical world, Russian elite musical world from the 60s on. So, yeah. We're all waiting.
Yeah.
Is she in the government secretly? I mean, what is her?
No.
She's too wild. She'd be too unpredictable.
Rodnina is. You know how Rodnina is in the government. So
Right. No, I'm sure she's not, because she always complains that she's not appreciated enough or given eyes enough, or like she would have her own school, but she wouldn't have to invest in one particular student, but she can be a consultant. And she is not, she's not in the government. She's very emotional. She's very sincere in her emotion, though it sort of makes her not as objective, but
we don't appreciate her enough. We have a party every time she has a birthday. We have celebrated her through the years with the document. I don't know how we could like her more.
It's true.
Now, are you also are you a fan of Irina Wiener?
I don't know who that is.
She is the Tarasova of rhythmic gymnastics, and she is another very important figure.
No, no, I don't know. I watch gymnastics for Olympics, but not like skating.
You need to look into that. That's another one. That's another podcast, another day. But
okay.
Yes, we love our women, But so we wonder, what was your moment of Russian nationals for you?
Okay, I'm thinking. Well, Julian bowling at Bobrova Solovyov's win. Mm-hmm. That was a good cry, and then Voronov screwing up. Not because I loved him, but because you really could see all the hopes being dashed right there. That was my sort of sad moment of Russian nationals.
How about for you, Jonathan?
Oh, Roganov's short program. Yeah, for sure. No question about it.
For me, it was Zagitova's free when she finished. Tarasova was clapping. Eteri was happy. I mean, I thought that it was a moment. I felt like the family was all together again. It was such a stark contrast to her short program. So, Well, we so enjoyed having you.
Thank you so much for having me. And yes,
And now
enjoy.
we're going to try to...
Чисто. Здорово.
Луц Ридбергер.
Луц Ридбергер здорово. И катается. Им надо в короткий заход менять на Луц Ридбергер. Шикарный.
Ну кто там хотел ла-бомбу? Вот, пожалуйста, Алина Загитова.
Здорово. Встанем.
Была небольшая помарочка.
Лениться не будем. Встанем. Здорово каталась девчонка. Здорово. Можно сказать, потрясно. Вот сегодня она каталась и с энергией прекрасной.
Ну, была одна помарочка.
Как бы
была.
вот, ну, была, неважно. Она сегодня каталась вот с такой энергией, которая нужна, которая переходила от элемента к элементу и увеличивала. Это умела делать только Женя.
И умеет.
И умеет делать. Это Женя умеет это делать. От элемента к элементу набирать энергию. И каждый исполненный элемент ей дает силы для следующего.